Okay. Oh, there'll be an encore, trust me. Okay. So last week, Doug was sending me songs to listen to for this and different songs that were coming up. And none of them worked. I was like, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right. And all of a sudden, in my head, I hear this, I'm coming out. That's what you want to sing about. And I was like, oh, well, they already wrote that song. And I know Diana's not is busy this Sunday. So who's like the next logical? Jason Tommy. It's absolutely perfect. So this was absolutely perfect. And thank you, Doug, for making that happen. So this Sunday, today, in this moment, it is time to get out of the closet. Are you ready? Yes! Just when I thought there were no more closets to possibly come out of, there is one. There's a very important one, and it's the I Am God closet. It's the God closet, right? So I'm going to first talk about what coming out means. So I looked it up, and I was like, where did this come from? And apparently it was this German psychologist who back in the 1800s was the first one to coin the phrase coming out. And he said that it was a detriment to anyone of a same-sex psychological bent to not come out because it was going to be detrimental to who they were, right? And so he came out in like the late 1800s, came out and was pretty much crucified. So then that scared people off, and it took a long time before people, but every now and then someone would come out and say, this is hurting us, this is hurting us, until here we are now where gay marriage seems to be spreading all across the country, right? So I just bring that up, not because I happen to be gay, because frankly, I got to tell you, I just happen to be gay. It's not who I am. I just happen to be gay. It's not what defines me at all. It just doesn't. I didn't even go to the gay pride parade this year. It doesn't define me. It's just something I am, one of the things I am in my life. But what I want to bring up about this coming out idea is the idea of coming out as God. I believe that seems to be just as difficult a choice for a lot of people, not wanting to say it. I was kidding last week about walking around everywhere and saying, I am God, who are you? And how that feels weird. Did you ever try it? Hi, who are you? I'm God. Stay away from that one, right? So there's something to be said about this idea of coming out. So coming out is a psychological process or journey. And I love this concept of it because your understanding that you are God is a psychological process. It's your mind getting used to it, getting clear on it. It works. It all happens here. How can I logically understand this, right? And the next thing is it's decision-making or risk-taking. It's a decision-making, risk-taking strategy or plan. There's a strategy to coming out. Now, I have to tell you a funny story. When I was like 16, 17, I have an aunt who I'm very, very, very close to. And she's my Jewish aunt. And we're just very close. So I asked her one day, I said, could we take a drive? And she was like, a drive? Why are we taking a drive? I said, let's just take a drive. I feel comfortable. I want to talk to you about something. I'd like to do it in the car. Because if you're in the car, who else can hear you in those days? So, there was no speakerphone or none of that. It was just, let's take a drive. So we take a drive, and I said, I have to tell you something really important, and you're the first person I'm telling. And it's very hard for me to tell you this. She goes, honey, whatever you tell me, whatever it is, it will be fine. I said, okay, I just have to tell you, I'm gay. And her reaction, she went, uh-huh. I remember feeling a little dissed. I told her the other day I was going to talk about this, and she said, don't make me out to look like a mean person. She wasn't at all. She knew it. I said, how did you know? How did you know? So she knew it, and I did say, how did you know? She said, I don't know, maybe the doll you wanted when you were a little boy. That no one would let you have, and I watched the sadness in your face when you didn't understand why that was wrong. And she told me all the things. She said, because I've just known it. She said, and most of us know it, but most of them won't talk about it. And I said, do you think my mother knew it? And she said, oh yeah. Your mother knew it. She said, but your mother was one of the ones that really refused to believe it. And so, so this whole idea of coming out as a strategy or a plan, I remember my strategy: start here and work my way up. And I started there and I stopped. I did. I figured I'm going to wait because I'm going to be moving out soon. And I waited pretty much till I got to New York to really talk about it. I mean, I fell in love. As soon as I fell in love, I was like, and here you go. I've got to bring home the person I fell in love with. And it was luckily a Tony Award-winning actor. So I brought him home thinking, well, this will work. He's won a Tony. How bad can this be? But my father didn't see it that way. So my strategy and plan, after a while, you stop having a strategy, you stop having a plan, and you just start being who you are. But for me, it was easy. I mean, I was an actor, and I was a dancer. So, my world was pretty accepting of that. So, going on here, it's a matter of personal identity and a rite of passage. So really what we're looking at here is a rite of passage. Your rite of passage, moving from an ideology that God was something other than you into I am God. It's a rite of passage. And this community, especially this specific community, is taking this rite of passage very seriously. It is time for us to jump into that rite of passage. Another thing is it's liberation, emancipation from oppression. Coming out of the closet is a liberation and an emancipation from oppression. What do you think you're being oppressed by when you don't know who you are? All the things you think you are. If I don't know I am God, I may think I am limited, or I am scared, or I am fearful, or I am lack-worthy, or I am whatever you put after I am that's not the experience you want to be. That's the oppression of your life. Because the truth is, I am God is the only absolute truth. And then I was reading this article called The Power of the Closet. The Power of the Closet. And it talked about all the reasons why it's important possibly to stay in the closet. Which, as you can imagine, I just loved reading that article. All the reasons why. And today's talk title is called The Comfort of the Closet. The Comfort of the Closet. I think it's comfortable for us to believe, perhaps, that God is somewhere else and something else bigger than me that will take care of me. And that I can pray to God and have God take care of me. That's comfortable. And I got to tell you, coming into a science that says to me, you are responsible for everything you create in your life, there's two sides to that. There's the side of, oh my God, I get to create my life, and the side of, oh my God, I created all this. Anybody have that going on? Or if I'm responsible, then who's going to be responsible? If I'm really responsible, oh my God, I can't blame anyone anymore. That's not fun. How can I go through my life without blaming my parents for what they did to me? How can I go through my life without blaming everything that happens around me? I've had things happen recently, and I could so easily go to blame, and I don't. Oh, I do for a moment, but because that's what occurs to me in the moment, and I get that. As soon as I instantly go to blame, I get it. My habits are so ingrained that even when I think they're gone, they're still there. And as Ellen said, right? Because it's still in the closet. And it's time to take all those things out of the closet too. And throw them away. Thank you for this analogy. And throw them away. If they don't fit you anymore, throw them away. Even if you think you're going to fit into them later, they'll probably be out of style. I have saved a leather coat since 1980 something. It's in my musical, my video, New Hampshire Nights, for those of you who have seen it. If you haven't, you must. Just go online and put in New Hampshire Nights, and you'll see the 30-year-old me in the 1980s outfits. I still have them. And I put it on yesterday to go to the movies. I did. This big winged shoulder pads and big flap, and I walked into the room and I went, does this still look good? And Kevin went, and then Kevin said so sweet, he went, wear it. As if I could wear it then. So you know what I did? I went back into my closet and I pulled out this really little skinny leather jacket that I got in 1988. And it's green. And I love this jacket. And I've tried to pawn it off on my kids and they smartly never take it. But I put it on, and it's like really tight, and I come back out, and I go over, and I went, what do you think about this one? He goes, either one. So I got rid of it. Oh. So I didn't wear either of those to the movies. I went and grabbed a very contemporary smart wrap. I wore that to the movies. So if it doesn't fit, throw it away or save it for your kids. But if it doesn't fit, why are we saving them? Why are we saving beliefs that no longer serve us? As though they're going to come back and serve us? All of a sudden, not being God is going to be a better way to do it? Let me go back to I'm just human and God will save me. That really always worked for me before. No. So, today's talk, the comfort of the closet. In New Thought, we have become comfortable with the idea that I am an individualized expression of God. That's where we're comfortable right now. I'm an individual expression of God. And as soon as I say I'm an individual expression of God, I see myself as this individual expression, and then there's God. Because the power of I am God is so monumentally passionate when you really get it. Suddenly, I don't want to be the individualization of God. I want to be God because I am God. And when I know that, and here's the thing, I'm not all of God, so I guess the individualization of God could work. It does work in a semantic way. It's just that we've taken that expression and just used it as another way of creating duality. If you want to say I'm the individualization of God and all that God is, and so are you, that might work. But any way we use to divide ourselves from God is what keeps us in the closet. And it is time for us to get out of the closet. You know, and here's the deal. I'm coming out. The question that comes up with I'm coming out is it safe? Is it safe to come out of this closet? Is it safe? What will the world do when I come out of this closet? Will I be accepted if I'm God? Will I be slaughtered when I'm no longer useful in the world because I'm no longer meeting the norm? Yesterday, I went to pick Nora up at a horse ranch, and I got out of the truck. Well, I went to 3 horse ranches, all the wrong ones first, but I got to meet some really nice people. Kevin always says to me, I don't know how you get to where you're going because you never seem to know where you're going. He's wrong. I always know that I'm going where life takes me at all times. So I went to the right address that you gave me, by the way, and at that address, there were 3 horse ranches, so of course I stopped at the first one first. And I met 2 lovely goats. And I had lovely little conversation with these goats. One of them bucked me in the butt, and I thought, this is not the place for me. So then I went to the second horse ranch, and there were like these really big, those horses that have the big legs and the hair and everything. So that, what are they called? Clydesdales, yeah. Beautiful. And they all like, I walked on and like every horse head came at me, looking at me. I was like, you don't look rideable. So I was like, okay, this isn't it. And then the woman said, it's up the hill. So I go up the hill, I go to get my daughter, and there are all these gorgeous horses, and these women, mostly women, riding the horses and jumping. It was just beautiful. And as I was talking to Nora's friend's mother, she was telling me the plight of horses. And I was saying how I want to own a horse. And Kevin and I are looking for a ranch-like place to live in Palm Springs. And I'd like it to have a stable so I could have a horse. And she was like, do you know what it's like to raise a horse? I went, that's Kevin's job. I just want the horse. Totally a joke, because he's already said if you don't take care of it, we're not getting it. So I'm his child. So we're talking about this horse, and she said to me, you know what's really great? Saving the horses from the racetrack. Because they're only 2, 3, sometimes 4 years old, and they're done. And they either get adopted or they get slaughtered. So she said, so we go often and get horses that are just gorgeous, gorgeous horses. She said, but here's the thing, and this is what got me. I said, oh my God, I got to use this tomorrow. She said, here's the thing. They have been taught that their only use is racing. So you have to actually help them to learn that their real use is to just enjoy life. And they don't have to keep just racing. They don't have to just keep doing what they were taught they had to do. We have been taught that we have to be human and work and succeed. Jesus. Did not teach that. We have been taught that. We are like these horses who, it's time for us to be turned out. It's time for us to be put out to pasture. It is. It is time for us to step away from what we've been taught we have to do and start paying attention to who we are. And that means success is a given. Prosperity is a given. Health is a given. Joy is a given. It's who I am. Now, how about I just start living that instead of trying to get that? Because that's how I've been taught. So, today on CPR, we're talking about the roles we play. And I said we've been playing the role of the human side of life for so long that we have been typecast in it for centuries. You and I have been typecast into this idea of the human. Even the divine human, we've been typecast into that. And then Ernest Holmes says, infinite mind is the actor, and you are the announcer. You don't have to just be the actor, you are the announcer. And Ernest Holmes goes on to say, infinite mind is the stuff from which all things are made. You can impress upon it any image of thought, and you will get a result, for it is the great actor. So while you're believing your performance, there is something inside of you that knows the truth. And there it is. Right? So there's something inside of you that actually knows the truth of who you are, but you're still trying to tell it that you're the scared victim. You're still trying to tell it that you're the human with some frailties and problems and issues and conditions. Any of you have any issues? Any of you have any conditions? It's not who you are. You're that which created the condition. You're that which created the issues because you bought into something, right? So while you're believing the performance, there's something else that isn't. And it's comfortable playing these roles. It's safe to play these roles. I've asked everyone on CPR today to spend the day asking themselves, what roles are you comfortable playing? And when I got off the call this morning, I realized in line with everything I wanted to say today, this was a great directive for all of us today. What roles are you comfortable playing? What roles can you identify right now in your mind? What do you play? I came up with one. I'm not sharing it with you. But I did come up with one. And I was like, done with that role. Why would that role ever give me any satisfaction? So what roles do you play? Do you play the victim role? Do you play the person who's never appreciated? Do you play the person who always sees the greener thing over here? It's never good enough where you are? What role do you play? Do you play the role of the successful person? Do you play the role of the popular person? Do you play the role of the person who nobody likes? What role do you play? Because I am here to tell you today, they are just roles. Without butter. They are just roles. And you can cast yourself in another one. And in fact, I'm here today to talk to us about the only role you should ever play, and that's God. Because that's the authentic truth. And as God, you get to then announce what it is you want. It's a choice. So think about this. What if it is that you're really walking through life announcing, I am the victim? How silly would that be of you? Or, I am the old person. How silly would that be of you? I did a Wii test yesterday, you know the Wii machines? And Nora wanted to do a Wii test to see how old we were according to Wii. And I thought, this is a setup. It's completely a setup. I said, I'll do it. So we get it and we do this test and it takes about 15 minutes and then it's calculating, and all of a sudden it comes up, your Wii age is, and it said for me, 60. And I was like, 60? Unbelievable. And Nora says, Dad, you're 59. I was like, but he doesn't know that. How dare they think I'm 60? So then Nora took it, and it said she was 39. So I said to her, well, since I am 59 and it said I was 60 and you're 14 and it said you're 39, either it's wrong or you got to get to the gym. And she just laughed and she said, well, Dad, it doesn't really know what it's doing. Listen to this. It doesn't really know what it's doing and it doesn't really matter. It really only matters what we think. I was like, okay, and that's the truth. So what role have you cast yourself in that you actually believe is who you are? Because it's not who you are. And today is about coming out of the closet as who you really are, dropping the roles, or as Ellen said, get rid of all those things that you don't want and stop packing them. I love this part. Stop taking them out, packing them for the day, and then, oh my God, putting them back for another day. Well, I got up this morning and I looked at my shirts, and this actually is a shirt that I bought for the show Light Bulb. I mean, I remember when I bought it thinking, do people really wear these colors? They're so vibrant, kind of electric. And I got up this morning, I opened the closet, and Kevin had it cleaned, and I went, that's me today. I feel vibrant today. I feel alive today. I feel a change coming on. I feel like life has opened up for me in a way that is so possible and so palpable. I feel so much change coming into this world for me, and change is a good thing. Change is an amazingly good thing for everyone that embraces it and says, I know who I am. Change it out. Change it up. I'm coming out, and I don't want to see the same old again. I'm coming out. So, I want to go to the lyrics by Nile Rodgers, which Doug sent me a file that Nile Rodgers wrote about writing this song. I loved this story. Many of you who saw Sissy Boy know that when I was in my late teens, I used to be a choreographer for drag shows in downtown Philadelphia. Those of you that don't know that, there you go. He talked about how when Diana Ross had asked their band to write a song for them, and that the best music was in the gay clubs. And the best music in the gay clubs was in the transvestite clubs. And the best music in the transvestite clubs were in the drag shows. And so that they would always go to these drag bars, and there'd be this awesome music. And he said at one point, they were going to write a song for Diana Ross. He went to the bathroom, he's standing at the urinal, and he looks over, and there at the 5 other urinals are 5 Diana Ross lookalikes. And he heard this little thing in his head, like, I'm coming out. What if Diana Ross were to come out? And he said he ran home and he just was like, I'm coming out, and wrote the song. And then he went to Diana Ross and he played the song for her. This is my favorite part. Diana said, do you think they'll all think I'm gay? And he said, no, they're going to think that you're coming out finally. You have a new label, you have a new life, you have a new career, you're coming out. You're doing it on your own. And so he wrote it, and how many of you remember hearing this for the first time? How many of you remember seeing that video with her, everything flowing? I'm coming out. I want the world to know. And the music's just flowing. I wish we had a fan for you, Jason. Just a big fan here so you could have been just like, I'm coming out. Right? So, I'm coming out. I want the world to know, gotta let it show. There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live, and I want to give. I'm completely positive. I think it's time, this time around, I'm going to do it like you never knew it. Ooh, I'll make it through. This time has come for me to break out of this shell. I have to shout that I'm coming out. I've got to show the world all that I want to be, all my ability. There's so much more to me. Somehow I have to make them understand. I got it well in hand. And oh, how I've planned. I'm spreading love. There is no need to fear. I'm just feel good, so good, every time I hear, I'm coming out. Great lyrics, huh? I think it's time. Here we are at the end of Remember Who You Are month. It's not enough to just remember who you are. Of course, next month is Do It Now. And there's a reason why Do It Now comes after Remember Who You Are. It comes after Love Only, Forgive Everything, Remember Who You Are, and Do It Now. And that high. Do it now. Do it right now, because what are you waiting for, right? What are you waiting for? When's the last time you went to a disco and just danced? 1985. Who said that? Marilee Blaisdell. It is time for us to start to step out of the comfort zone of the closet. To step out of the closet and come out as the truth of who you are. You are God. Ye are gods. And it is time for us to act like that, not just hear it, not just talk about it, not just think about it, but actually do it. And if you're not doing it, if you're not acting the truth of who you are, then figure out what's in your way and move it aside. Because I'll tell you, I am ready to just say to everything that stands in my way, move aside, because I am coming out. Band, if you guys could come back up. So here's what I wanted to do to finish this. You know, it's so funny. Namaste, come up, please, Jason. So here's what I wanted to do to finish this. I decided it's not enough for me to stand up here and go on about this. It's time for us to put it into action. Now, I know you did it a little bit at the top, but I decided that, and I love that you said we need an encore, because that's exactly what we're going to do. And I want you to, you know what, I want you to do what you feel, now I don't want you to do what you feel comfortable doing. I want you to get up, and I want you to shake your booty, and I want you to come out, and I want you to dance. If it was 1985, let's pretend that today, it's now today, and it's no longer 20, 30 years since you danced. Marley, come up here. Okay, good. Come on up. Okay, so you're going to dance with me as we go through this, okay? And I want everybody up. Here we go. Okay? Here we go.
There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live, and I just want to live. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for us to break out of our shell. It's time to shout, and we are coming out. I'm coming out. Show the world all that I want to live and all my ability. There's so much more to me. Somehow I'll have to make them just understand. We've got it well in hand, and oh, how we have planned. We're spreading love, there is no need to fear, and I just feel so good every time we hear.
Okay, let the world be warned.
Who says we don't disco?
Everyone here today is ready to come out, yes? And guess what? We just did it, and so it is. Okay, everyone. Woo!